All right, first let's look at the stats you will be using for this character. I'll take off all of my talismans so we can see the exact base stats. I'm level 80. I like staying as low as possible to maintain the fact that I can actually invade people. The higher level you are, the less people there are to invade because you can only invade upwards, so I like staying as low as possible. That's why min-maxing your stats for PvP is very important. So the class I chose was Prophet. It has the best stat allocation for this particular build. I have 38 Vigor, 23 Mind, 8 Endurance, 11 Strength, 10 Dexterity, 7 Intelligence, 52 Faith, and I have 10 Arcane, actually. The 18 Arcane is because I have the Silver Tear Mask on, which boosts my Arcane by 8, which makes it so I can cast every dragon spell in the game without having to invest a single point into Arcane. This thing is extremely good for this build. This actually lowers the physical damage of your weapons, but since this build does not use any weapons, it's only a giant upside. So very, very good. That's the stat allocation. For talismans, there's a bunch of stuff you can use. I like just using more HP. I haven't really finished a lot of stuff here yet. I'm using Marika's Scar Seal as well. This is the thing that boosts all of your caster stats by 3 or 5, depending on which version you have. There's also the Two Fingers Talisman, which simply just gives you more faith to bring you up to that 60, kind of one of the first soft caps, which is very, very good. And then finally, I like Radigan's Icon, which doesn't really affect any of your spells except Catch Flame. It's really the only spell it affects is Catch Flame. But it allows you to cast subsequent casts of this significantly faster. So when people are trying to, out R1 you can actually out damage them by just spamming this as quickly as possible. This is your, get out of my face spell. It's very, very good. So those are the stats. And next we're going to talk about the spell choices that you can use. So this is my current setup for spells. I have Catch Flame, Aegil's Flame, Placidusax's Rune, Golden Vow, and Flame Grant Me Strength. Now, these last two are buffs, and they synergize with the other 3 abilities. And so the general procedure is you do Golden Vow, because Golden Vow lasts a very long time. This is like at least 2 minutes on this buff. It's a very, very long buff. So you do Golden Vow, then you, when you see the compass icon disappear, which means you're closer, then you use Flame Grant Me Strength, because this is, I believe, a 30-second buff. And this is going to increase your damage from fire significantly. And Golden Vow also increases all of your damage by 10%. So now you're at an already a 30% buff. Actually, the two things stack multiplicatively, so it's even more than that. Another thing you can do is have your Flask of Wondrous Physic and the Crystal Tier you're going to use. This thing is absolutely insane. It's the Flame Shrouding Crack Tier. It improves your fire damage by like 20%, and it will last pretty much the entire invasion. It's like 3 minutes. It is insanely good. There's also another tier that gives you 10 Faith, and I really recommend both of these. You can get both of these tiers pretty early as well. Those are definitely the ones I use. I'm trying not to give any locations of items because I don't want to spoil anything. Like, I don't want to spoil where you get the silver tier helmet as well. You can just Google them. I'm just trying to give you the names of them so you can figure out where they actually are. I just want to be very careful with spoilers. I say as I use Placidusax's Rune. But hey, I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible. Now, there's one other buff you can do, and it's a bit of a trick, and I'm not even sure if it's intended, and it might be patched. If that's the case, then ignore this part. But Determination right now is actually affecting spells as well. What it's supposed to do is buff the damage of your physical attacks. But for some reason, it's working for spells as well. So it'll actually give you a 60% bonus to your spells for a very short time. So you can use this if they're about to kind of run into you. I left hand my weapon, Determination, switch back, and then I'll swap to Catch Flame, and then just immediately start wailing on them with 60% boosted damage of Catch Flame. This is how you can do like literally 500-600 damage instantly with Catch Flame. Now, whether or not that's intended, I'm not sure. It might not be, and if it's not, that's fine. You're going to lose, probably, I don't know, a decent chunk of damage. But it's also kind of hard to do during invasions because it's a lot of micromanaging. You have to switch to this thing, then do this, and then press triangle, and then R1, and then switch back, and then switch your spell, and then do this. It's a lot to do when people are chasing you and you're spam rolling and stuff like that. So if they do remove that, honestly, I wouldn't mind too much. If they do remove it, instead, keep the Dragon Communion Seal in your offhand. Never cast with this. It can stay at +0. But the passive effect it has, which is boost Dragon Communion incantations, is very useful because it boosts the damage of all of your breath spells, including Placidusax's Rune. So it'll actually improve the damage of all of these things. So that is good to have in your offhand. Now, when do you actually use these spells? Well, you do Golden Vow when you load in. You use Flame Grant Me Strength when you see the icon disappear, so you know that they're close. And then you pretty much alternate between Catch Flame, Aegil's Flame, and Placidusax's Rune. And there's kind of really only a few options for you. So if you have a vertical area where you can assault them and you can jump above them, you can float with Aegil's Flame and nuke them from above, and they can't do anything about you or anything to really stop you. unless they have range attacks or spells. Now, if you see spellcasters, you're not going to do that. Don't jump up in the air and use flame. You will get shot out of the sky, and it's really bad. For spellcasters, you want to be right up in their face and just do catch flame. Lots and lots of catch flame. As they're trying to roll away, you can roll catch with it. Just don't give them any room to cast spells. Just constantly stay in their face. Now, one of the best parts is once you actually hit them with catch flame, they will probably panic roll and try to roll back and heal. And one of my favorite things to do for casters is you finally hit them with catch flame, immediately switch to this, they roll back, they're starting to heal, and now they're stuck in this and they're dead. That's one of the best ways to catch casters. So do not try breath attacks on multiple casters. It will not work. Now, finally, Placidusax's rune is acquired from a very late game boss. I'm not going to spoil where he is or anything like that, but it's from his soul. Now, this thing is the quickest hitting spell in the entire Soul series, I think. It hits you within 10 frames, and this is what the effect looks like of the shockwave. That hits you. Now, the downside is you're locked into this extremely long animation. Don't get me wrong, this attack absolutely fucks. If you hit with the beam, it'll probably kill them outright, but it's pretty easy to dodge the beam. However, this is basically your emergency button. If you're getting surrounded by 3 people and you're like, oh shit, just bust this out and they will go away from you. Okay, guys. Goodbye. That's probably the best thing you can do. There's also another option. You can try using Grael's Roar, but Grael's Roar does not get the buff from Flame Gamma Strength or the Fire Tier, so it's not quite as useful. You're not going to get as much damage out of it, but it's also a bit safer because you're not stuck in that big animation. So those are the main spells that you're going to use, and hopefully from studying the clips from earlier, you can see like how and when to use them, but that's about it. I'm going to back to actually refine this build more. There's a couple of other spells. I want to try some of Mohg's spells, and also I need to get the better versions of Determination, and there's a couple of other things I can do. So that is it, guys. Quick guide to being the Dragonlord in PvP. Hope it was useful. See you next time. I'm going to do this to sign off.